When she moans too soon, do you really think it's passion? Or is it the easiest way to protect your ego? Most men convince themselves they've satisfied her. The reality: she's starving for something you've never given her. And she hides it so well, you'd never know. She lies beside you in the dark, her body still, her mind elsewhere. You think you gave her a night worth remembering, but to her, it was nothing more than routine. Ask yourself, why doesn't she complain? Why doesn't she ask for more? Do you think her silence is proof of pleasure, or is it surrender? Here's the brutal truth. She isn't angry, and she isn't disappointed. She's given up. She's resigned to passion being gone. She's accepted intimacy as predictable, and every fake smile, every staged moan, every quiet performance buries her true hunger deeper. You believe you're doing everything right. In reality, she's just protecting your ego. She's not showing you her desire, she's hiding it. Two people in one bed. Two different realities. That's the epidemic no one dares to confront. Because what she secretly longs for isn't another move, another trick, or another borrowed script. What she craves is a shift so powerful it rewires how she experiences desire itself. She wants a man who slows down, who notices, who transforms a glance, a whisper, a touch into something unforgettable. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the truths she will never confess. Stay with me until the end, and you'll learn the hidden language of female desire. Because unlocking it doesn't just change the bedroom, it changes her. It changes you. It changes everything. Most men rush in, never realizing what they're missing. They treat intimacy like a sprint, racing for the finish line. She adapts to that pace, but inside, she's starving for something else. Not speed, but slowness. Not performance, but presence. Every time you rush, you lose her a little more. Think about the difference. For you, it's just a physical act. For her, it's meant to be a ceremony. You chase release. She craves transformation. That's why so many couples claim their sex life is fine. But beneath the surface, she's empty. The gap isn't skill, it's awareness. Good sex without awareness is just bad silence wrapped in noise. She doesn't want clothes ripped off like you're racing a clock. She wants unveiling slow, deliberate, reverent. Not efficiency, but ritual. Every inch of skin deserves to be noticed. Every pause should build tension. The longer you hold back, the hungrier she becomes. If you move fast, she forgets. If you move slow, she remembers. Mini test protocol, decoding her timing. Pause longer than you think. Hold her gaze. Linger with your hand. Watch her breath. If she leans in, she wants intensity. If she freezes, she wants you to drag it out. That's how you read her rhythm without a word. If you can't read her body, you'll never own her trust. And yet, she won't say this. Why? Because telling you to slow down feels like cutting your pride. Because men confuse speed with strength. So she adapts. She moans on cue. She smiles after. She lets you believe you've done enough. But inside, she's waiting. Waiting for the man who knows arousal isn't a switch. It's a fire. A fire that only spreads if you feed it slowly. Most men press buttons. Few men start fires. Her silence is the most dangerous trap. When she fakes, you never learn what works. When she adapts, you never realize her real pleasure lives in the gaps you skip. The loop repeats, you recycle the same moves. She recycles the same performance. Both trapped in a routine that looks safe but feels hollow. Silence in bed is not peace. It's surrender. Here's the truth men ignore. Her body reacts to words as much as to touch. Not silence, but narration. Not cliches, but presence. Describe what you see. Her breathing, her warmth, the way she moves under you. That's what electrifies her. That's what turns contact into memory. Protocol. What to say in the moment. Forget lines like you're sexy. Whisper instead. The way your breath caught that drives me insane. The way your skin heats under my hand makes me lose control. These aren't compliments. They're evidence you're there. With her. Now, empty words kill desire. Present words ignite it. Because without words, even flawless technique feels robotic. With words, even a kiss becomes unforgettable. She doesn't want flattery. She wants authenticity. And she knows the difference instantly. When she feels you're not just touching her, but discovering her, that's when walls collapse. That's when she surrenders fully. In the first moments, you either open her soul or shut it forever. The opening sets the tone. Rush, and she retreats. Savor, and she blooms. Stay silent, and she feels alone. But if you speak with presence, if you make her feel more than just a body, she will give you a passion you've never seen before. But that only happens when you unlock what most men ignore, her rhythm. And in part 2, that's exactly what we're decoding next. Her desire doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts hours earlier, long before clothes come off. Most men think foreplay begins with touch. Wrong. It begins with presence. With the look you give her at breakfast. With the hand on her back while she's cooking. With the message at 2 p.m. that makes her bite her lip in public. Foreplay doesn't start with your hands. It starts with your awareness. She doesn't want grand speeches. She wants small signals, not generic compliments, but precision. Not "you look nice," but "that smile is killing me today." Not "you're hot," but "the way your eyes lingered on mine, I felt it in my chest." Generic words vanish. Specific words stick like scars. But here's the part men miss. Her body is not a map of obvious landmarks. It's a hidden terrain. Most men play tourist, chasing the same spots, same routes, same routine. She doesn't want a tourist. She wants an explorer. Protocol 3: overlooked places to explore. Start with the inside of her wrist. Slow kiss. Feel her pulse race. Move behind her ear. Whisper. Breathe there. Watch her shiver. Then her ankles. Trace with your fingers. If she jolts, you've unlocked a hidden circuit. If you only touch the obvious, you'll never touch her soul. Exploration is not technique, it's attention. Watch her breathing. Notice when her body melts versus when it arches. Every reaction is a signal. Every silence is feedback. Most men bulldoze through. Few men listen. The man who listens without words controls the room. And here's the paradox. She doesn't want to be only soft. She wants to be both soft and fierce. Some nights, she craves surrender, being held, guided, claimed. Other nights, she wants power, pressing you down, directing the pace, flipping the script. Both realities live inside her. She just needs a man who can handle both. Not control, but sensitivity. Not domination, but leadership. Protocol. How to sense her shift. If her body stiffens while you lead. Pause. Release control. Let her take it. If she melts when you assert, continue. That's her telling you what she needs without a word. If you need her to tell you what she wants, you've already failed. Because when she feels free, when she knows she can be both fire and water, her passion multiplies. She stops performing. She starts living the experience. And that's when intimacy stops being predictable. It becomes addictive. Average men satisfy her body. Rare men unlock her multitudes. Routine is the quiet killer. Most men think consistency means stability. But in intimacy, consistency without variation is decay, not stability, but suffocation. Routine doesn't keep her close. It pushes her away silently. She doesn't just enjoy novelty. She needs it to feel alive. The kitchen counter can become a stage. The couch can turn from TV to temptation. The shower can shift from cleansing to worship. Even a hallway kiss, stolen and raw, can set her heart racing. If desire always waits for the bedroom, it's already dead. Every new setting sends a message: I want you now. Not later, not scheduled, now. And that urgency proves your hunger isn't tied to convenience. It's real, it's alive. Women don't crave routine hunger. They crave relentless pursuit. But novelty is not only about place, it's also about rhythm. Most men treat her arousal like a straight road steady. Predictable, one speed. Wrong. It's waves. Sometimes slow, sometimes sudden. Sometimes gentle, sometimes violent. If you drive one speed, you'll crash her desire. Mini-test protocol. Decode her timing. Slow down deliberately. Drag your hand. If she arches forward, she's starving for speed. If she stills, she wants you to stretch time. Then switch sudden intensity. If she gasps and follows, she thrives on escalation. If she freezes, she prefers the climb. Her body writes the script, you just have to read it. If you can't read her rhythm, you'll never conduct her symphony. And there's another layer: her curiosity. She may imagine silk ties, blindfolds, oils, or toys, but she won't ask. Not because she doesn't want them, but because she fears you'll think she's too much. She hides her cravings to protect your ego. When she hides her desire, your routine wins, and your intimacy dies. That's why you must lead, not as correction, but as exploration. Bring one small change in oil, a blindfold, a tie, and frame it as curiosity, not complaint. If she feels you're inventing, not fixing, she opens. Novelty introduced as correction wounds her pride. Novelty introduced as devotion wins her trust. And when she knows you will never let desire fall asleep, she invests more. She responds with passion, not out of duty, but because she feels rediscovered each time. Average men give her repetition. Rare men make her unpredictable, even to herself. Most men think the finish line is the end. They collapse, roll over, grab their phone, or drift into sleep. They think release equals completion. Not completion, but betrayal. The fastest way to kill her trust is to disappear right after she gives you everything. Because for her, climax isn't closure, it's exposure. It's the moment her defenses are gone, her heart wide open, her body raw. And silence in that moment feels like abandonment. She doesn't need more tricks. She needs proof she still matters after the act. If you vanish in afterglow, She learns to vanish in desire. This is where intimacy either dies or deepens. When you linger, when you hold her, when you stay not to perform, but to protect, you're telling her you are not just a body. You are the bond. That memory doesn't fade. It imprints. Most men chase climax. Rare men chase connection that begins after climax. But here's the harder truth. She's been conditioned to doubt her own desires. Society told her to mute her hunger, to hide her fantasies, to never appear too much. So she buries them. She won't ask. She won't risk judgment. She waits for you to give permission, not spoken permission, but safety, not asking her to confess, but showing her she can reveal without fear. That's the difference between a man who touches her body and a man who awakens her fire. Protocol. What to say in afterglow. Don't say that was great. That's performance language. Instead, whisper, "The way you let go with me tonight, I'll never forget it." Or, "I love how different you feel when you're completely mine." These aren't compliments. They're anchors. They tell her she was unforgettable, not just sufficient. Wrong words erase passion. Right words seal devotion. Because afterglow is not downtime. It's prime time. It's the space where loyalty is forged, where she decides whether to protect herself more next time or to surrender more fully. Ignore it, and you train her to withhold. Embrace it, and you train her to bloom. In those quiet minutes, you're either building her walls or burning them down. Mastering afterglow is what separates amateurs from legends. Any man can create heat for an hour. Few men can create safety for a lifetime. And safety, paradoxically, is what unleashes her wildest fire. If she can't rest in your arms, she'll never risk burning in your hands. Most men think passion dies with time. They blame age. They blame routine. They blame her. Wrong. Passion doesn't die from years passing. It dies from pursuit ending. Not time, but neglect. The moment she feels like an obligation instead of a choice, desire starts rotting. Because what she needs isn't flowers on anniversaries or grand declarations once a year. She needs evidence daily, subtle, undeniable, that you would still chase her if you had to win her again. Not comfort, but pursuit. She doesn't miss being young. She misses being hunted. This is why so many couples fade. Men get lazy. They stop noticing the details. They stop giving signals. They stop proving hunger. And she stops blooming. You think she changed. In truth, you stopped feeding her fire. Most men lose her not to another man, but to their own silence. Protocol. How to keep pursuit alive outside the bedroom. Hold her hand in public without warning. Kiss the back of her neck while she's doing something ordinary. Send a message at noon. "I can't wait to ruin you tonight." None of these take more than seconds. Yet each one tells her, "I still want you now." Not later, not scheduled. Now. The pursuit you abandon during the day is the passion you'll never see at night. Because intimacy isn't built only in the sheets. It's built in the grocery aisle, in the kitchen, in the quiet moments when she least expects it. That's when she feels chosen. That's when she remembers she's still the woman who makes you restless. Routine makes her invisible. Pursuit makes her immortal. And when she feels pursued, her loyalty hardens. She doesn't just stay, she invests. She doesn't just love you, become her mission. Because you proved you never stopped choosing her. Because you proved desire doesn't retire. When she knows you'd still chase her, she'll run only to you. This is the secret keeping pursuit of isn't optional. It's survival. If you let her feel forgotten, you lose her. If you remind her she's still the prize, you own her devotion. Average men think security keeps her. Rare men know pursuit keeps her alive. The moment she feels like an obligation instead of a choice, desire starts rotting. Because what she needs isn't flowers on anniversaries or grand declarations once a year. She needs evidence daily, subtle, undeniable, that you would still chase her if you had to win her again. Not comfort, but pursuit. She doesn't miss being young. She misses being hunted. This is why so many couples fade. Men get lazy. They stop noticing the details. They stop giving signals. They stop proving hunger. And she stops blooming. You think she changed. In truth, you stopped feeding her fire. Most men lose her not to another man, but to their own silence. Protocol: how to keep pursuit alive outside the bedroom. Hold her hand in public without warning. Kiss the back of her neck while she's doing something ordinary. Send a message at noon. I can't wait to ruin you tonight. None of these take more than seconds. Yet each one tells her I still want you now. Not later. Not scheduled. Now. The pursuit you abandon during the day is the passion you'll never see at night. Because intimacy isn't built only in the sheets. It's built in the grocery aisle, in the kitchen, in the quiet moments when she least expects it. That's when she feels chosen. That's when she remembers she's still the woman who makes you restless. Routine makes her invisible. Pursuit makes her immortal. And when she feels pursued, her loyalty hardens. She doesn't just stay, she invests. She doesn't just love you, become her mission. Because you proved you never stopped choosing her. Because you proved desire doesn't retire. When she knows you'd still chase her, she'll run only to you. This is the secret keeping pursuit alive isn't optional. It's survival. If you let her feel forgotten, you lose her. If you remind her she's still the prize, you own her devotion. Average men think security keeps her. Rare men know pursuit keeps her alive. Most men believe sex ends with climax. Not ending, but exposing. Not closure, but revelation. Because that final moment is when she's most open, most vulnerable, most ready to decide whether you're a man she'll forget or a man she'll never replace. Climax doesn't finish the story. It writes your legacy in her memory. Average men chase performance. They think strength is about how hard, how long, how loud. Wrong. Real strength is presence. Not the body you give her, but the safety you hold her in. Any man can exhaust her body. Only a rare man can awaken her soul. Understand this when you give her freedom. She answers with devotion. When you make her feel chosen, she locks her loyalty. And when you carry her through both her softness and her fire, she will rise with you beyond the bedroom into every part of life. Ignore these truths, and you'll always wonder why passion fades. Live them, and passion never dies. Protocol. What to whisper as the final anchor. When the room is quiet, lean in. Say softly, "You make me want you more every time." Or, "I love discovering new sides of you." These words are not filler. They are anchors. They seal the experience in her mind as unforgettable. Wrong whispers vanish with the night. Right whispers haunt her for life. So here's your choice. Don't be average. Don't be tolerated. Be treasured. Be the man she cannot replace. The man who doesn't just touch her body, but ignites her soul. If this struck you, subscribe now and stay with me, because this is only the beginning. What comes next will not just change how women see you, it will change how you see yourself.